Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited to be here, and really thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm going to talk for about 5 minutes to 10 minutes about what we do at Stemple Creek Ranch, and that's hard for me to talk for 5 or 10 minutes. I usually talk for an hour or 2 hours, though. So we'll have a little bit of fun, and I'll talk through what we're doing. Stemple Creek Ranch is actually right over there. If you're looking through this building and you see the fog, just keep going 55 miles north. And we're right on the coast, and I guarantee it's foggy there right now. And there's a lot of really great benefits of the fog because it keeps the grass moist, and it actually adds a terroir flavor to our beef, in my opinion. There's some really awesome restaurants here in the Bay Area that use our product that would probably say the same thing. So we're up there in Tamales, California, in Marin County. I'm actually the 4th generation of Poncia. My great-grandfather, who's seated in the top picture in the right corner, Angelo, immigrated from Garzano, Italy in 1897. And he came to Marin County he came from Garzano, Italy to Marin County with the intent on farming in Marin County, which is pretty amazing how 120 years ago they knew that Marin County was such a special place and raised such amazing food. And it's cool for me to be a rancher now 4 generations later because Angelo, he was a groundbreaker. He farmed lots of different things, and everything that he farmed was consumed within 100 miles of home. The narrow gauge railroad came through the property. Came along Tamales Bay. It stopped over there in Sausalito, and all the food was ferried across to San Francisco, and it was all eaten locally, which was really awesome. And then the other 2 generations, which are both Alfred, they got more into the conventional industry, and we sold food to whoever would buy it, the highest bidder. And then about 15 years ago, I really realized I wanted to come home and take over the operation, but there wasn't economic opportunity for me. So we had to reinvent our business and really come directly with a consumer-focused business, what the consumer wanted, and figure out a way to do it. And the grass-fed industry was really starting to blossom. I tried some of our own meat from our animals that we would traditionally sell to a feedlot, and I thought, man, this stuff is amazing. I could sell this, and it's also a benefit to the environment, so this is a win-win. And so the transition to carbon farming began, and actually, I don't know if you think this is a good picture or not, but it's interesting because I'm going to show you what it looks like now. But so when I was a young child, this is looking out the kitchen window of my parents' house, and that's Stemple Creek, the name of the ranch. And everybody would come and say, man, your ranch is beautiful, it's stunning, it's gorgeous, and that's what it looked like. And today, what it looks like, because of our carbon farming practices and regenerative practices, is this. So we went from being heavily eroded, the water would turn green in the fall because it would oxidize, the fish would die, to this now, where we have 35 different species of migratory birds that nest here. We have this is a huge carbon sink, so it slows the water. It leaves a lot of the erosion, so the soil will settle from neighboring ranches. And so our soil is actually building, and it feels really good. The water is clean and clear underneath, and the steelhead are coming back. So Mother Nature has a way of repairing herself if you just pay attention. And that's really exciting to me because I'm 45 years old. I've been farming with skin in the game for 30 of those years. And the last 30 years, we've made this change. I'm hoping to live as old as my Angelo, my great-grandfather, which was 101. So we have a lot of really positive future ahead of us in terms of regenerative agriculture, producing healthy food, and all the like. So 1990, 2010, 2018, it's just been stunning to see the changes that have been made. And it's just by paying attention and working with Mother Nature. So this is what the riparian area looks like now. Tons of bird life, a lot of different animals that live there that didn't live there when I was a child. And so why carbon farming? Our goals, basically my goal is to build more soil and have more carbon in the soil, both to sequester CO2 from the atmosphere, but even more selfishly, so that my kids will have more fertile soil to be able to farm on, and my grandkids. And we want to market super high quality, healthy food and be totally honest and transparent about it, where it's coming from. Financially, we want to have green grass year round. 150 years ago, 250 years ago, there was forbs and perennial grasses in this coastal prairie of California that stayed green year round. Now we have a seasonal drought. Half the year is dry, half the year is green. What we're starting to see now is we have lots of green grass year round and forbs. And we have lots of great chefs in here that probably like a chicory salad. I plant chicory all over my fields because it's got a deep taproot, and the cattle love it. It's as nutritious as alfalfa, but I'm going to show you a picture here. Again, it sequesters carbon and photosynthesizes year round. So we're really blessed to do that. We want to make our soil like a sponge, basically. So when it rains, if it rains half the year, when it rains, we store all the water in the soil, and it doesn't run off into the ocean. And if it does run off into the ocean, we want it to be clean and clear. We don't want it to be carrying sediment with it, because we're trying to build soil and save the carbon in our soil, at the same time build more carbon in the soil. And then one thing that we haven't talked a lot about today yet, but we have to be profitable. As a ranching business, we have to be profitable, and sustainability doesn't really mean anything if you don't have profit to feed the good stuff that we're doing. What we do is really, really expensive. We don't take shortcuts. We do it the right way, and we know what our costs are and what our dollars need to be in revenues to be able to pay for everything that we're doing. And we can talk more about some of that stuff in a little bit. But we need to be able to afford to stay here, and we need to make it exciting for the next generation of farmers to come in and want to do it. And any of you that have grown up on a farm or had your own garden or whatever, there's lots of trials and tribulations in farming, and you have to be able to be resilient enough to make it through. And one of those is by making our product profitable enough and unique enough that people want it. So I briefly mentioned chicory, and one of the reasons why I love this picture, because it actually shows the chicory taproot, and it shows the earthworm that's underneath the chicory taproot and the moisture. And all this field, this is September, October. We haven't had rain in 5 months, and we have lots of green forage. The sheep love it, the cattle love it, and it's actually has some medicinal effects. It actually helps take care of the animal's health. They harvest it on their own. It's a really, really awesome product, and it's just one of the examples that I didn't even know about 10 years ago, and now I know about it, and I'm trying to take it to the next level and use Mother Nature to help us solve these issues. We say we farm regeneratively or ranch regeneratively. One of the ways we do that is we have big mobs of cows. These are all finishers. That means they're in their last 90 days of life. Our goal is to make them as fat as possible. We want to make grass-fed beef that's marbly and really fatty, that looks like it's grain-fed, but it's grass-fed. And so we mimic Mother Nature. We try to mimic Mother Nature. I can't say we're perfect at it. We try and mimic Mother Nature, like with the buffalo that came across the Great Plains. 300 to 500 years ago, they would eat the grass in front of them, stomp on the grass below them, and poop on the grass behind them. And it helps build soil, at the same time build plants that are perennial, that live a long time, and big roots, and store a lot of carbon. So that's what we do. Any one day you come to the ranch, you might see 300 animals in a group, and we move them every day. So they'll just get fresh pasture every day. Some of it is an art, some of it is a science, but we talk about how we can make this movement become more, like have neighbors do it. I love this picture because to me it shows that our carbon farm plan is working. On the left side, where you hardly see where there's no cows, frankly, in this picture, that's my neighbor's property, and the grass is about this short. And when it rains there, the water all runs off and it goes into the creek. And to the right side of the fence, the grass is about this tall, and that's my ranch. And I have cattle that are laying down, chewing their cud, getting fat, and that's good for the ground. It's good for the animals, and ultimately, it's good for the consumer that's going to consume this beef. So our carbon plan is working, and we're building soil, which can never be a bad thing. We do lots of education and tours. We love to bring people to the farm and explain what we're doing. and it's part of our overall process. And the last thing is, this is my happy place. I'm not a chef, but I love to cook. So if you're ever in town, come and visit, and we'll have a steak together. Thank you.